Let me see. Welcome in. Shalom, shalom. Uh Man, I know I got a crazy echo right now. But let me do this real quick. All right. Hope all is well with y'all, man. Welcome in. Listen, we finna get to this thing. Welcome back to the Warsheep podcast, y'all. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let's go ahead and get a sound check in here real quick because I know I don't have my mic on right now. So let's get a sound check. Drop a ram and a sheep in the chat for me, please. Drop a ram and a sheep in the chat for me. All right. So we got audio. We good there. All right. So welcome in. I know it's been a long break. I know it's been a little bit since we've done a live stream, especially doing a live stream on time. You understand what I'm saying? But we'll be back and welcome back into the Warsheep podcast. Listen, today we're going to discuss quite a few things, y'all. We're going to talk about not only the situation when it comes to these Epstein files and things like that, but how they relate to our everyday life, the level of influence that it has and impacts our life, not only our life but others, right? Because as believers and people who strive to follow Hamashiach, the Messiah, people take advantage of that desire to follow. And we need to cover that. We need to cover it how they take advantage of those desires, and then they take advantage of other individuals who may not walk so closely with Yeshua, right? Who may not walk so closely with Jesus. And they take advantage of their desires to be famous. You know what I'm saying? They got hidden cabals, they got hidden cults. We've all known about this for quite some time. It's been exposed and they've been labeled to be conspiracy theorists, right? People who believed in a lot of this stuff already and brought this to the public before it was mainstream, before the Epstein files, before all of this stuff started to blow up. And as we know in the scriptures, it says that everything that's hidden in the dark shall come to light. We recently just had a passing that took place over in Straitway. Now, all of the disagreements that I have with Straitway, it does not, make it to where it's okay to bash or put down anybody who's just lost their life. But of course, Uncle Vernon, he's gone too soon, right? And my thing is that you only hope and pray that he got it right. But I welcome you guys back into the Warsheep podcast. I welcome you guys back now, and we're going to hit at the heavy topic when it comes to the inner workings of Straitway. What's going on inside of Straitway currently? Getting word, of course, that there is a bit of discrepancy there. There is some things going on within that camp that honestly we got to go over. We got to expose and we got to kind of bring out a little bit more about. I want to just give you the surface level of what I can see. And then, as they unfold more information, more documentation as to what's truly going on in that particular cult ministry, I want to then reveal more, right? I want to bring a little bit more after that. Okay. So we're gonna cover that right here, right now on the Warsheep podcast. You understand what I'm saying? Well, we believe that light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and that patience will create unity. So let's get unified in the spirit, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. All right, let's do some shout outs real quick. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Honorable Pastor Rufus in the house. Welcome in. Good to see you. Bless you and shalom, shalom. Welcome in, Sister Rose. Now I'm doing a little something different here, so I'm trying to see what okay, there we go. There we go. I'm actually streaming on stage. There we go. Bless you and shalom, shalom. Welcome in. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, also, let me see if I can, because this right here is okay. All right. All right. All right. Bless you and shalom, shalom. Welcome in, Sister Rose. Welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Brother Vic, my brother, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you and shalom. Sister Angelica, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you and shalom, shalom. She and the ram and the sheep in the chat. Welcome in. Max Jewel Misty, welcome in. Well, my name is Max. What good? Oh, hey, how's it going? Bless you and shalom, Max. Welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Styles, welcome in, brother Styles. Welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you and shalom, shalom. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing, y'all. First of all, I've seen a couple things when it comes to the situation. When it comes to the situation with, let me start here with Danil Muir. Let me start here, right, in discussing this. You know what? Let's start with what's going on with this whole Epstein thing. And my thing is that I'm trying to see exactly because this thing is acting up. Okay, it's not letting me pause this. Here we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so we need to dive into this thing. My thing is this, y'all, is that um when we're dealing with some of these things, y'all, you gotta know, like, there's major things, and I'm here live from the home office here, and I appreciate y'all joining me. Listen, like I said, I've been grinding hard to accomplish a few goals, and this has definitely been one of them. You know what I'm saying? This is one of them. This is getting out here and doing it, and I believe that gets a more an intimate type of setting, rather than the office setting. That this is a much more intimate setting. Just coming to you guys live, just like this, right? And that's what I believe. So, um, but yes, yes, yes. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Now, when it comes to the situation with Daniel Muir, Christina Muir, things like that, we're going to discuss that here. We're going to definitely discuss that here. But I want to briefly touch on this topic when it comes to them. And you would think, right? You would think in some of these cult-like environments, in some of these situations, that maybe you would keep it on an honorable level. Maybe it's a thing as to where they themselves would handle each other in a completely different way. That they would handle each other like in a way that would make sense, right? That would be like, okay, well, surely they can handle their own affairs. You get what I'm saying? Surely they can handle their own affairs. Surely they can be able to internally work out problems, differences, things like that. And they won't need any outside courts to be able to help them or assist them with anything. That they can be able to work and sort out their own issues. Well, we have it, right? We have it. And like I said, I want to do a deeper dive into what's going on with this particular situation, because I've just kind of got skimmed across the surface of this whole thing. And shout out to Pastor Rufus for, kind of point me in the right direction with this. But my thing is that when it comes to this situation and this topic, when it comes to Daniel Muir, when it comes to what's going on over there with Straitway Goshen and the current legal issues that he's having, right? I have it to where, of course, his court hearing is going to be coming up very soon, right? He's scheduled and slated to be in a jury trial in June. You understand what I'm saying? Of this year, he's scheduled to be in a jury trial in June of this year. And so you got a lot that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to really be careful. If you are Daniel, you got to be careful, man. You got to be very careful as to what you're doing, how you're moving, because this is going to be a situation that you and your wife, you guys, your freedom is on the line with this. So what I would hope is that you can actually be wise in your decision making, which I believe that you're making decisions based on what you believe is going to work out. So hopefully whatever you are up to, Daniel, hopefully it works out for your wife's sake and for your sake as well. But on another note, when you're dealing with situations and problems in their own community, our own camp, is there am I seeing a level of discord? Am I seeing a level of not truly handling their situations in a pragmatic manner? Like honestly, let's be real. Let's keep it honest. And coming across this information, the reason why I want to touch on this real quick as well is it seems like that's not the situation here. It seems like that even within their own camp, that they have their own issues that they're taking publicly, right? And when I say publicly, they're taking it to the court of law. And these are two individuals that are still within the Straitway Truth ministry. They still associated with Straitway. One of these brothers, made a recent video talking really good about Straightway and whatever it may be in Dow and whatever experience that he's had, only for us to be able to discover that there was a lawsuit against that same brother, the one brother that's a light-skinned brother from Georgia who moved from Georgia over to from Georgia to Indiana, Goshen. He moved. Well, apparently, this brother had help, a substantial amount of help in moving. Now, my thing is this, right? Me as a brother associated with this particular group, man, listen, I'm trying to understand why. Why would you even go as far as you went? If it was me, period, I would be definitely looking to manage a few things, help out a little bit here and there, but we talking 10K, $10,000 worth of help to move a brother from one state to the next. Now, my thing is this, right, y'all? When I'm witnessing this, when I'm saying $10,000, really? Who in the world needs $10,000 to move from one state to another state? Who needs $10,000 in order to get that done? Now, this is where it comes with favoritism, man worship, man pleasing. You understand what I'm saying? There's only a select group of individuals that they would actually actively do that for. They wouldn't do it for just anybody, right? They would have to do it for certain people. Me personally, I don't believe that it takes that much. I want to show you guys exactly what I'm looking at here when it comes to this whole situation, when it comes to Mirror actually giving all of this money over to this dude. And my thing is that you wonder why they got trust issues, right? When you're making certain decisions like that, that's probably not the best decisions. And what reports I've gotten, is that this brother obviously needed the assistance, but he just wasn't. His reputation on handling his business was not as strong as it should have been. And I'm going ahead and pull this up real quick. Now, I'm by any means am I trying to bash your brother. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm just trying to put forth some tangible proof. Let me see. Is that working? Can y'all? I don't think y'all can see what I'm seeing right now. Okay. Let me remove that from stage. Add it to stage. There we go. All right. Now, I know y'all can see it now, right? Boom. I'm gonna put it like this because my laptop is acting crazy right now. My laptop is tripping right now. And I'm kind of taking a look at what my options are. Boom. All right. I like this. There we go. Now we can work. Now we can work. Now, do you guys see this? Y'all tell me if you can see this in the chat, man. Drop a ram or a sheep in the chat if you can see this. Can y'all see this? I moved 6 hours. Hold on, wait a minute. I moved 6 hours away on around $800. That was 2 trips. Ouch. Yeah, $600. Moving 6 hours away off 600. Okay, Adam Reary. I hope you guys remember Adam. I hope y'all remember Adam. Y'all remember Adam's testimony on Dow and Straitway. Adam Reary is the brother who made this particular testimony in regards to Straitway Truth Ministries. And he spoke very highly of Straitway. And my thing is this, right? I'm curious as to why Adam is on the docket as a defendant, right? And Danil Muir, the so-called pastor within Straitway, is on the docket as a plaintiff. I'm just curious as to why this would ever take place if you guys got your stuff together over there at Straitway. If you guys got your stuff together within that ministry, if y'all know what y'all do, why is it that Danil Muir is a plaintiff against this guy who made a solid testimony for y'all, really did his best to make sure that he can try to put the naysayers to bed? This brother came out and was speaking on behalf. Now, I want you guys to remember who Adam is. He says that he was an eyewitness. Adam says that he was an eyewitness and he gave an eyewitness testimony, right, in regards to Straitway, and that this eyewitness claims that we're all liars. This eyewitness claims that, the power and the truth and the level of whatever and authority that comes from Straitway Truth Ministries is unmatched. This individual has a lot that he wanted to say in regards to Straitway. And the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying currently and covering this is because we know that everything that glitters ain't gold, but individuals who are still trapped in this stupor, right? Who are still deceived by what's going on within that ministry, right? The witchcraft and everything that they put out. They need to understand how they get down. They need to understand, like, when they come out and start talking about people who are infidels, right? These are people who refuse to handle and take care of their responsibilities. Those are infidels. Those are people who refuse to handle their responsibilities, meaning guys who be sitting on video games all day, smoking weed, doing this and doing that. Guys who take on obligations to a $10,000 debt and do nothing to try to accommodate the individual in regards to that debt. Who make commitments, right? Who make commitments and don't keep those, right? Who make commitments and don't keep them. These are people who are worse than an infidel. These are people who are not taking care of their own house, right? Because a part of taking care of your own house is taking care of your household legacy, your household name. That comes with a part of it, in which a lot of this generation that we're looking at right now has lost the art of keeping their name looking good, right? Meaning it's important. Their reputation is important. They don't want to bring shame to their family legacy. Other cultures of people hold it in high regards, whereas to where a lot of the culture nowadays don't even care about that. They could care less about the family name and keeping the family name in good standing. A part of that is taking care of your family name, right? So when they speak about this, right, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull it up real quick. I want you guys to see this real quick. This is Cass County Court, right? This is a small claims court, right? The status is decided. Okay, so this is an open case. right? This is an open case as new filing. It's a new filing. He recently filed this back in December of 2024. So they've been having this going on for what? Appearance filed for at least about a couple years now. Well, a year, because we're in 2026, right? Let me make sure because we're in 2026, right? So they've been having this going on behind the scenes in the background for a while now. They've been having this going on back behind the scenes, knowing that this dude then did a testimony, knowing he's talking big about A, B, and C, knowing that they got a case against him and they filed a civil action against him because of the simple fact that he's not paying his money. They know this. They know this already, right? So my thing is this, right? Let's go ahead and go real quick. This is when they filed it back in December of 2024, 2025. Boom. Now, my thing is look at the amount. $10,000 is what this case was filed against. He filed against $10,125, and that's the balance that's due as of what? February 15, 2026. The defendant is charged to pay $10,125 to the plaintiff, right? That's what they're saying the balance is due. So my thing is this, when I'm looking at this, he has court costs of $125. Seems like they've already decided the judgment that he has been legally obligated to pay $10,000. And my thing is this, right? This is nothing that they actually would formally discuss with anybody. They would do certain things like this behind the scenes, okay? And then won't even bring it public. They won't bring it public for the simple fact or talk about it, right? Discrepancies like this, because my thing is this. It'll make the ministry look bad, right? But when the public already has the information and the information is being brought out, I would prefer to hear it directly from the horse's mouth than to hear it from the public, from somebody who's outside looking in, who's critiquing the behavior. Now, my thing is this, right? Is that when you loan somebody some money, right? When you've loaned them some money, the Messiah says that you should not be looking for anything in return. There's nothing that you should be expecting in return once you've given some money. You understand what I'm saying? You shouldn't be expecting anything in return. Once you give in your money, you got your expectations that you may not receive it back at all. And if you're going to give $10,000 to somebody, right, on an agreement, then you got to understand that the possibility of this person not paying you could be very likely. It could be very likely. But what led this individual, what led him to go and file a civil action against them? Because here, when it comes to Adam, and he already made a testimony, I don't know if they bribed Adam into this testimony because he owes $10,000 to this ministry. And since he owes $10,000 to this ministry, of course he's going to come out and do a testimony. He did this testimony 3 months ago. This court case has been going on since 2024. Does this court case, is that testimony still a valid testimony? And let me go ahead and show you what brother I'm talking about here real quick, so that we're on the same page. Let me show you what brother we're talking about here real quick, so we're on the same page. Let me grab that real quick. Sorry, let me see. That way we're on the same page. All right. Okay, so it's this brother right here. So this brother made this testimony about 3 months ago, right? Knowing that he had a civil action, knowing that there's a judgment or a decision that's been made that he would owe and have to pay $10,000, right, to Daniel Muir. He would have to pay that. He would owe that money. All while he's making testimonies like this, and Dow reposted this testimony. Was this something to where it was done in bribery? Was this done based on that the level of how much money he owed them? Because that's very interesting, right? Now, I'm just saying, when you owe somebody money, you be willing to do what they ask of you. You be willing to do what they're asking. You understand what I'm saying? And so, if you owe them 10K, why wouldn't you come out and give a testimony, no matter if it's true or not? Why would they take this brother who's still associated with Straitway to the court system in order to render a judgment against him to pay 10K, to pay 10,000, right? Why? They should send more money to Africa and see how that plays out. Mm. The wolves need something to devour. Yeah, need something to devour. Mike should get on YouTube to testify for his husband Dow, who gave him life just like a beer. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with Mike, man. Brother just needs to move on. He needs to move on. I don't know what's going on with Mike, but he needs to move on. He's still talking. You say you don't want nothing to do with me, but you still got my name and my podcast name in your mouth. You just need to move on, bro. You just need to move on. Yeah. So now it's just the norm to sue your brother and take him to court nowadays. And this is what saints want to follow. Yeah. So now it's like a mixture, y'all. Now we're mixing Christianity and Hebrew Israelite culture, are speaking about Hebrew Israelite culture, but truly you're not really practicing the faith, because look what you're doing. Now, this, like I said, this brother took this particular testimony, made this testimony 3 months ago, and this whole court case took place and it was filed in 2024. So all throughout 2025, 2024, 2025, this individual is now obligated. He has obligations to pay, to repay. And we're supposed to make his testimony credible. He's supposed to be given an eyewitness. You see what I'm saying? It says here, firsthand eyewitness account. And we're supposed to be taking it into consideration, making him a credible individual when he owes these people money. He's bought, paid for, sold his soul on that. You get what I'm saying? Sold out to the vision, sold out to the dream of Straitway. And we're supposed to make his testimony a credible eyewitness testimony, unbiased. These are the type of people that they put before you in order to deceive you, in order to have you thinking that, okay, well, maybe this is not such a bad place. This is the type of people that they put before the public. People who owe them thousands of dollars. People who don't have a true credible testimony, because there's nothing they can do to really speak against that ministry unless they're willing to leave it. And they've been court ordered and binded to pay them thousands of dollars. How can we have a credible testimony and you're already forced to pay these individuals? There's no way that your testimony can be credible. There's no way that you're a credible individual, a credible source, if you have a biased opinion. If you owe them thousands of dollars, there's no way this could be credible. But yet, yeah, he proceeded to make it. He proceeded to give it. Yo, I gave to Adam multiple times, large amounts, never required payment back. If Yah has blessed us and our brother has a need, why we loaning him money? That's will be your only reward too. Yeah, because they're not concerned about what the Most High would care about, which is the charitable heart, the giving in charity. And this is the reason why I keep saying what I'm saying when it comes to these situations is that, you're finding yourself in a position where the people around you only care about themselves, only care about, looking good for others. They don't really care about what the Most High would direct them to do, what Yeshua would tell them to do, what Jesus would tell them to do in situations like this. They don't direct them to that. They don't adhere to that. What they adhere to is what would appease their conscience and would appease their flesh. And that's about it. Because there's never should have been a time where Adam here was taken to court and sued for $10,000, right? There should have been a time where that took place, you know, but you also should be able to take a man at his word. When he says that he's going to do something, he should be doing it. Is he still paying this obligation? Because a court order had to decide this. I mean, what was the pushback? What did he say to tell them whatever they need to, whatever he needed to say for them to say, you know what, I got to take it before court, before the heathens, before the world, to command or demand that he pays me. He didn't. What did he say? I'm not paying or giving you shit. I'm not doing that. What did he say? It shouldn't be a real obligation to it, though. You shouldn't be holding them to it, right? That's why the rich will have really hard times having a really hard time making it to the kingdom. Yeah, because that love for that money is still there and present. They love the money so much that they're willing to take their own brother to court to force him to pay back. And it's like, why would you even be that irresponsible to give this young man, $10,000 of your hard-earned money? Why wouldn't you make it an obligation for him to pay certain things? $10,000 to move, $10,000 to do that. It does not require $10,000 to relocate a family. It doesn't require that. And if you decided to give him 10K because you wanted to help him get a vehicle or whatever it may be, why didn't you just give it to him? Y'all ex-NFL superstars with 100 acres of land, many brothers who live on that land too, who are working, who are providing a living and giving y'all all the money, right? And then also giving it to Dow too. Why can't you guys afford to give this brother 10K so he can get himself together? And y'all still got problems with giving that money out. Why wouldn't you be able to do it? I mean, because I would say that property taxes aren't going to be too crazy, right? Maybe they are because y'all are building on the land, but y'all don't got it. Like y'all don't got the money. $10,000, that should be a drop in the bucket for you. Ex-NFL superstars who are still making money, who have other brothers who are bringing wealth into your community, and you hand this brother 10K. Poor decision, in my opinion. Very poor choice. It don't take $10,000 to move. I'm sorry. A whole family, it don't take 10K. It don't even take 10K to get you a cash car. Let's get you a cash car for $2,000-$3,000 and keep it pushing. But it don't take that. So we got this brother who's making testimonial videos 3 months ago, all while he's been decided a judgment of $10,000 that needs to be paid over to Straitway Goshen. It doesn't surprise me that brothers like this will be making testimonies and they would say that this brother is an eyewitness testimony. It's not a credible testimony, in my opinion. It's just saying it's a very biased testimony. He's going to speak well of the people he owed money to. He going to speak well of them. And that's the thing. It's the reason why I'm talking and discussing it right now. It's because a lot of them do have this level of bias whenever they're telling their testimonies. You're not going to hear the real deal. Let's get their wives on and let them be candid. Let them be under oath and let them tell the truth as to what their experience is. And I'm not talking about selecting the few that you treat well. I'm talking about the ones who you don't even know nothing about, the ones that's in the gutter. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about those. with full immunity, with full protection, right? They can speak how they feel and be honest, because this right here is unacceptable. If you claim to be a pastor in Israel, if you claim to be a pastor in Israel, it's unacceptable to take a brother to court and then sue him for X amount of dollars because you decided to give it to him. That's your fault. How are you making the poor choice to give this man over $10,000 a year of money, right? And then you're the one who's trying to get the world to correct and fix your mistake. You should have chalked that up as a loss and kept it pushing. Now you're gonna try to go to an apocrypha or go somewhere over to Ecclesiasticus and try to pull some resources when we know for sure that Yeshua came and said that if you give your brother money, you should not be looking for a repayment. You should be looking for them ends to come back to you. Once you give it, it should be further from your mind. Now, if he gets it back to you, hallelujah. But if he don't, you never expected it. And that way it doesn't callous your heart. It don't bring you a hardness of heart to where now you taking your brother to actual court. The love of money shall wax cold. That's right. Right? You already know Dow won't be speaking about this nor Muir real criminal trial. He too busy trying to smear my name. Yeah, and some of these brothers, man, they cannot give up the endless tirade pursuit of smearing people's name and reputation. And that's what it is that you got an endless pursuit because you know for sure the truth has come out. We've exposed the truth. We revealed the truth, and it continues to be exposed and revealed. You all, listen, I can take a break for nearly a month and come back, and y'all still talking. Y'all still on this. Y'all still running your mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Knowing that, listen, we're going to come back indefinitely, and we're going to pull some receipts and bring some receipts. Now, certain individuals need to understand credibility. There's a level of understanding that needs to be had. We still got Dow who literally lied to y'all face and said that I said something that I never said before and blamed it on a brother who's no longer with the ministry. So you got to understand and know how you get down. You got to understand and know how you get down. And it ain't about nothing else other than bringing forth some truth and revealing the things that are hidden, right? Let's get Nelly to testify for Dow since she turns the head. Yeah. And my thing is this, right? That woman's so deceptive, then she'll get up here and flat, bold-faced lie. Let's get it. Let's get an angry Nelly who's been put away to tell her testimony about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Adam just got married recently to a sister named Chi. Congratulations. Okay, hallelujah. Yeah, and married into debt because I'm pretty sure he hadn't paid that off yet. Married into debt. He's a servant. He's indebted to them. You understand what I'm saying? He has a debt that needs to be compensated for. So no matter what it is, he owes them money. By law, he owes them money. You understand what I'm saying? So this is not something that we need to overlook. It's not something that you need to be playing with. This is something that directly defies the word of the Messiah. It directly defies that. Now, I know y'all like, hold on, wait a minute. What's that mean? Let me go ahead and get that scripture for you. I'm going ahead and grab that scripture for you guys. So that way you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right, so we're gonna get that scripture here real quick. And my thing is this: is that when you directly reject the word, and you see that you know this is not how you're operating. You're operating this thing like a business. You're not operating it like it's a brother, and you love this brother, and you just want to see this brother doing well. So what you do is you're going to what? Give him the sums of money, give him the sum of money, right? And not expect anything in return. Now, me personally, if I got it and I can give it, best believe that I will. I'll definitely give it. And then when I give it to you, I forgot that I even gave it to you. That's just the way that I roll. I don't really think about it like a thing is to where, hey, you owe me money type of situation. If I was expecting that back, guess what? Then that's my problem, because you know what? I should have known. I should have known better, right? But my thing is that if I'm not expecting it back, then there's nothing to disappoint me. There's nothing that's going to anger me or upset me. When I don't expect that back, guess what? I'm freeing my own soul. I'm freeing myself from heartache, from hardship, from anger, from all these different things, because guess what? I'm giving it willingly out of my own heart, sacrificing that out of my own heart. And I'm not giving it grudgingly, right? And so I know that the Father will bless that. I know the Father will bless that. But when you're giving and you're giving it grudgingly, guess what you're doing? Now, when you see this brother, you want to check this brother. Now you want to go and find scriptures over in Ecclesiasticus demanding that this brother pay me, because guess what? Now we got bad blood, and we got Ecclesiasticus to be able to justify why I'm upset. You understand what I'm saying? And then this is what they do. That's why you got people saying, like Dow, saying, "Oh, I know shit better happen. I know you better pay me my goddamn money." Saying things like that, right? And then reading off all these scriptures over in Ecclesiasticus that describe the characteristics of when you don't pay a brother back, right? When you don't pay a brother back, the characteristics of what happen if you refuse to pay a brother back, or whatever it may be, or fulfill your obligation to pay. And then we're hanging on to this as gospel truth, as scripture. My bad, y'all. And that's what they're doing. They're hanging on to this gospel truth of scripture. Where Yeshua said right over here, right? Let me add this to the stage real quick. Let me add this for y'all so y'all can see it. Boom. Luke 6:34. Let's go. Luke 6:34. Okay. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again, right? So sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. What hope do you have of me when you're lending somebody money in hopes you'll receive it back from them? This is Yeshua. This is Messiah talking, right? Our master, our savior. This is who's talking right now, right? And if ye lend to them whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For how are you thankful? How are you grateful? Right? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. Hoping for nothing again in return. So who is going against the word of the Messiah, right? When you're lending to these individuals and you're hoping for nothing in return, it doesn't mean that you take them to court and sue them. It means that you're looking at the situation and you see that they're in need, and you're providing that need, and you're saying, don't worry about it. If you're truly not worried about the money, if you're truly only concerned about the treasures and glory, you understand what I'm saying? Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah says, you're hoping for nothing in return, right? And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. You understand what I'm saying? So I will not forget it. I had this one sister who shared these text messages with me, right? And it was one of those elders who used to be a part of the Straitway Truth Ministries, right? Who was charging this young lady up about paying Dow back, basically coming to collect some money for Dow. I sent her these scriptures right here and told her to send that to the individual. Send it to them. See what they say. You get what I'm saying? And the sum wasn't even exceeding $2,500. The amount that she owed Dow, and she was being pressed for the money, y'all. She was being pressed, meaning they were texting her, calling her on her ass about this money. She was being pressed as a single sister for monies that did not exceed $2,500. Right? So this is not just an isolated situation. This is a situation that is abundant, meaning this is the way that they operate and think. They think like this on this level because they believe that their obligations and that people owe them something regardless of anything, regardless on how much money that's been given, regardless on how much money has been provided to the ministry. They still believe that they're owed something, where Yeshua says here, you need to do what? Hoping for nothing again. You're not hoping for nothing once you lend. Once you lend, you're not looking for nothing in return. But it's more peace when you say, hey, I'm going to lend this because I got it. Let me lend it, and I'm not going to even worry about getting it back. It's so much peace when you establish that sort of relationship, because when you're not expecting it in return, you're not grudging against the individual. You're still loving on the individual, and that individual can respect and honor you even more, because guess what? You're not up their ass about this money. You care about the treasures and the glory in heaven before you care about this money. You care about what Yeshua said, or Jesus said right here in Luke 6:34-35. When you're lending something, you need to what? Be merciful. It says here, Luke 6:36, be ye therefore merciful as your Father also is merciful. Be merciful. Is that merciful when you're taking a brother to court and suing him for that $10,000? Are you being merciful now that you're binding this individual to you, right? Tethering himself to you because you got a Roman government that's on his rear end about paying you money. Now that you got the Roman government involved, he can go to jail for not paying that money. There is no debtor's prison here in America, but when you're obligated to pay something like that and you're not paying your money, you're not paying your ends, they'll come in, they'll put a warrant out for your arrest, and they'll arrest you and put you in jail because you're not paying what's due. You understand what I'm saying? This is how they enforce it. So now you got this man tied up in legal issues where they can seek judgment against him, where they can seek to arrest him, where they can seek to put him behind enemy lines. You really placed him in a very vulnerable position, and he's just recently married, and she's married into a slave. She's married to someone who's indebted and in servitude because he was sued, right? He was sued by a so-called pastor. He was sued by a so-called pastor, right? Where Jesus, Yeshua says, you need to be merciful. Therefore, be merciful, as your Father also is merciful. No mercy going forth for this brother. Not only that, listen, but love ye your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return. You shouldn't hope for your enemies to do good to you. You shouldn't hope for your for whatever you lend it to come back to you. You shouldn't hope for any of this stuff. Give it willingly, right? But it's just so you can be able to keep your heart in a pure condition. He ain't saying that you need to be soft. You ain't saying that you need to be weak. He ain't saying none of that. He's telling you how to relieve yourself from these emotional attachments, right? You're attaching yourself to these things emotionally. Anger, pain, frustration, all of these things come about when you start to do what? Expect somebody to pay you some money. Then you get that love of money spirit about you. Well, this mother, well, shit happened, but you better pay me my goddamn money. That's how you start to talk. You start to speak like that because you have a love for money. It ain't about that you anything else. If you didn't have a love for money, you would never speak on it. You wouldn't be taking your brother to court. You wouldn't be trying to devour him in court. You wouldn't be trying to come after a single sister for something that's less than $2,500. Monies that's less than $2,500. You're charging her up, talking about how much she owed, all this other stuff, and she better pay down his money. Like those are things that heathens do, right? Those are things that us as believers we should not be holding that to people's charge. We shouldn't hold it to their feet, hold it to their charge. Yeshua said it, or Jesus said it right here. Me personally, like I said, whenever I give out some money, you can ask anybody who's ever borrowed money from me, right? And I had it to give it to them. Once they received it, how many times did I call them about my money? How many times did I charge them up? Hey, you know how much money I done gave you already? Man, I can't keep doing it until you give it back. How many times have we done that song and dance? I got individuals right now who I know will literally treat somebody who's in need like a true servant. You understand what I'm saying? And they better bow down to them. They owe them so much money. They owe them so much, right? Even if they let them stay with them for a little while, they'll let you stay. Man, yeah, you can stay with me. You invited them. You invited me into your home, and now you're expecting me to perform on a certain level that does not fit the bill. Now you want me to. Now you want in-house servants on top of paying half your rent. Now you want this. Now you want that. Now I owe you something because you feel like I'm in your household. Now I owe you all of this. Now I owe you all of that. Degrade the individual as a human being, as a brother or as a sister in the faith. Whereas to where that individual should be invited into the home. Feet should be kept. Feet should be washed. They should be invited with love, not expecting anything in return. And this is how you truly develop a real relationship with the Messiah, with Christ, and get closer to the Father. It's because your humility and your willingness to be able to provide and serve somebody who's in need should be greater or to supersede the amount of money you can get from the individual. When you start to put a price tag or a amount of time or a bill on that individual, and you put strain and stress on them because they living under your roof or you're providing something to them, and you got to now come bog down on them, that is not the spirit of the Messiah. That's not the spirit that we should embody as believers. It's not doing anything for us at all. It's not doing anything. Me personally, I want if people come to my house, if people stay with me, right? I want them to feel so welcome that it's their house too. You understand what I'm saying? Not feeling like they're a burden, not feeling like that they have these obligations to do this, that, and the third, and they're trying to get themselves together. They're trying to make it, trying to get themselves together. You decided to give $10,000 to this young man, and then you decided to sue him because you made the decision to give it. Well, Yeshua is telling you literally, when you lend, you're hoping for nothing in return. How many of you gonna serve Yeshua or Jesus on that capacity? To where you're giving out money, and when you give that money out, you're not expecting for the person to pay you back. You at peace with the decision that you've made to lend them that money and say, "Hey, I'm not expecting that coming back to me. If it come back, hallelujah. If it don't, hallelujah. Your brother needed it, right?" And yeah, it's the thing. They're sinners. The sinners don't care about the word/truth. No, and it's evident when we make it abundantly clear that that's what's going on. You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna continue to say and make excuses for the behavior. They will continue to try to redirect and re shift the focus off of them onto something totally different. And they can continue to do it because they don't want their livelihood to be affected. It's about the money. It's not about the people. It's about the money, not about the people. Dow recently just broke down whatever he believes that this channel makes. And of course, he dogged it out like, man, only $200 did that. I'm like, okay, well, what's that matter? If it's $200, if it's $3, if it's $500, what does it matter? $1,000, tens of thousands of dollars. What does it matter if the truth is coming out? If the truth is being received? If there's a level of blessing that's coming to me, whether it be $1 or $200, I'll receive that blessing, because you know what? A workman is worthy of his hire. So no matter what it is, if I'm putting in the work to bring the truth, and other corporations want to give compensation for that, I'm pretty sure that Dow could agree that you're going to receive that. I don't rely on other people to compensate me. I don't rely on them to do it. I appreciate all the donations and love the people who give willingly from their own hearts. But I don't demand them to do anything. I don't demand them to support me. I don't demand them to pay for my vacations, my lavish vacations. I don't demand anybody to pay me my money back, $10,000, and I go take them to court. I don't demand any of that stuff. I don't do any of that. You understand what I'm saying? I just come on here and show my face and talk about the truth. We're going to talk about what's being revealed. We're going to talk about some of these cult-like environments. We're going to talk about a lot of these individuals who want to masquerade themselves as light bringers or light bearers, right? Who masquerade themselves as brothers and sisters within Israel, right? Who masquerade themselves as this, but truly they behave and perform on a whole totally different level. And that's the reason why we're bringing this out now, because like I said, this directly goes against what Yeshua said whenever you decide to lend to your brother or sister, right? It goes directly against that, y'all. It goes directly against that. So when we're seeing this happening, we're seeing it taking place. And then we'll read how much the judgment is. It's already been decided that this brother has to pay him $10,125. And this is court ordered. It's a sad thing. It's very sad, right? Because mercy should be shown on you if you show mercy. Now, this is another reason why that he gotta really pray. When it's time for him to go into court and he's got to face this jury, he's got to face this judge and this jury. He's got to, go and talk about how or why he said over the phone that he beat his son like he was a grown goddamn man, right? He's got to go before a jury and explain why he decided to speak like that, why he decided to put his hands on his son. He's got to go before this jury and hope that they show him and his wife mercy. We're already off on a bad foot. Because look at Luke 6:36. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. You show mercy, you be given mercy. Excuse me, y'all. If you show mercy and show that you're merciful, you'll be given mercy. We'll see what happens. And I'm not wishing nothing bad on them. I'm just saying, like, you got cards spiritually. Spiritually, when you got spiritual cards that may be stacked against you, we all know the story in regards to the man who was forgiven of his talents and went and charged up the other man who owed him some talents. It wasn't nearly as much. And how that king brought him back in there, and the next thing you know, he was fully judged because he did not forgive his fellow servant of the talents that was owed to him. Right? So we know these examples that's coming from scripture, but who lives by them? Who truly lives by them? And if leadership within this particular cult ministry, if leadership is on this type of time, if they're operating on this level, then of course the person who is leading them thinks on this level. In fact, the person who's leading them, meaning Dow, is the one who actually told them to perform on this level, to go and do that, go and do this. I just thought that was pretty interesting, y'all. I thought it was pretty dang interesting, right? This is what goes on within certain groups and sects, right? Even though the Messiah has spoken, we still go against what he says, and we're supposed to be in positions of leadership and supposed to be pastors and things like that and claim to be Israel, keepers of the book. You understand what I'm saying? What's the book say? This is what Daniel Muir would ask people, right? That's his favorite line. Man, what's the book say? I'm going to ask you, Daniel, what's the book say? Should you have held that man an obligation of $10,000? Should you have done that based on what the book says right here? What's the book say you should do? That's all, and that's it on that particular topic, y'all. I'm trying to tell you right now, man, that when we're dealing with these individuals, this is the best way to deal with them, is to hold them accountable for their actions, whatever the actions are. You understand what I'm saying? That was totally in his control. He was completely in control and was able to make a decision not to suit his brother. But he made a decision to literally file a civil action against him. Why? What sense does it make? The brother ain't got the money to pay you. You shouldn't have gave it to him in the first place. Right? You shouldn't have gave it to him in the first place. So, I know that this is pretty much wrapped up for them. And I know that for sure that it said it's been decided. So there's not much that can be done. They've already went through those steps. They've already went through those motions. They've already violated and breached the words of the Messiah. They've already done that, right? All they can do is just ask for forgiveness and move on and correct the behavior. Satanists would give someone something just to trap them. Absolutely. To trap them, to keep them in a docile state, to keep them in servitude. You'll entice them. You will use certain things to entice them, to pull them into servitude and keep them where you want them. You don't allow them to grow. You don't allow them to progress. You don't allow them to increase. That's totally right. Absolutely. It's that law, baby. It's that law, baby. Finna show them what's up. You finna show clown circus. Absolutely. It's the law, right? It's the law. It's the law. You heard we just read what the Messiah said in regards to that, and how you should approach your brother when you're giving them or lending them anything. Just like I decided not to sue Dow, but then he came back and sued me through the ministry in Vernon. RP, my brother. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, people who can't let something go, who just can't let it go, people who have to win. They got to have a one up. They got to win. They'll go through any measures. You understand what I'm saying? They'll even sit there and lie on your name and show half a text message and try to paint a picture of you being somebody that you're not, because they can't stand to lose. And you keep stumping you keep stumping they guts out, kicking their teeth in at every turn. They try their best. They try their best to do anything in their power to try to discredit you or do whatever they can to win. And it's a sad thing, because pride is heavy in that pursuit. Pride is heavy in the pursuit of a man who can't let something go, who continues to try to find a way to win in a situation where they're dead wrong, where they shouldn't be trying to go for vengeance. What did the Most High say? Vengeance is mine and I shall repay it. And you got individuals out here who are literally showing half text messages and doing certain things to try to do what? Get criminal charges pressed on me. I'm like, what? I watched a brief moment of what this guy Mike had to say in regards to this thing, and I don't really want to talk about it much, But if I got to, because I'm the one who's actually being harassed at this point. I'm the one who's actually truly being harassed because I ain't said nothing about the brother or addressed him or tried to come at him in any kind of way. And it's been literally weeks. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's been weeks. It's been nearly a month, right? And ain't nobody been concerned about that. But brother, you keep going and going and going. I'm not really concerned. I don't really care. But my thing is that, bro, don't you got better things to do? Like, come on, bro. Don't you got life you gotta go live? You say you don't want nothing to do with me, but you keep talking about me. Stop talking about me. And you won't have nothing else to do with me. I promise you, because I'm not gonna talk about you. I don't got nothing else to say to you, bro. It's just that simple. But a lot of those ideas and thoughts that you're planting in people's mind when it comes to children and talking to children, minors, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever picture you're trying to paint, right? You have to understand what law is. It has to be some sort of situation where there's grooming, where there's sexual type of conversations and things like that. There has to be something that's going on with that. And there's literally nothing happening with that. So we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on from that topic. It's pointless to even talk about, honestly. However, we're going to move on to the news for the day, y'all. We're going to move on to the news for the day. All right. Oops. Okay. I thought I had that removed. Hey, man, y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me as we get this thing in order. So, we all know and heard about these Epstein files, right? And we're going to switch gears here. These things have come to light and they've been released, and it's been so much talked about that you would think that honestly, how could they ever hide this? How could they hide this so well when we're talking about these people who are part of these satanic cults? Now, it's much like these religious cults, okay? These satanic cults perform and operate on these particular levels. And I promise you now, do you not think that people are plants? Do you not think that people are planted into these particular religious groups, religious sects, and creating a cult leader, developing and fashioning him to be a cult leader to lead people down the wrong path? You got to understand, when an enemy is running hard because he knows that he only has a short amount of time, he will cultivate a certain charismatic individual to become a cult leader, to be nothing but deceptive, to lead you astray, right? You know what to expect when you go and take a look at these satanic industries. You know what to expect, but you wouldn't know what to expect from a pastor. You wouldn't know what to expect from somebody who claims to be a believer in the Messiah, right? And they're not showing themselves outwardly to be who you should be watching out for. But we're going to dive into some of the nuances of what truly is going on, especially with these Epstein files, and how these people, not only have they had this hidden for decades, right? They tried their best to hide it as much as possible. But honestly, I always thought myself that Michael Jackson would be somebody who's a part of that, who's actively involved in a lot of these particular situations, right? When it comes to child sacrificing and other things like that. I remember back in the day that there was a skit when he was being blamed for the child SA, right? When he's being blamed for SA and things like that back in the day, I remember there was skits coming out about him. I remember the Wayne's brothers did a movie, right? And he was like a topic of one of the movies. They did a skit about him in the movie in regards to SA. I remember those accusations that came out. I remember him hanging a child over the balcony, and they made and exploited that and made it a huge thing and situation. I remember all of those things, right? I remember all those things. And I always thought, since he was such a big pop star, that he had to have something to do with this industry, with the way that they move, with the way that they do things. He's had to have something to do with it. Michael Jackson, there's no way, he's too big of a pop star for them not to have infiltrated his camp and also steered him in a direction that they want him to go into. Man, I gotta tell you now, a lot of us may have been absolutely wrong, especially when it came to the most recent events before his passing. When he's speaking out against these people, right? And he's actually putting a lot of these individuals on blast. He's talking about these people and how they operate and how wicked they are, how evil they are. He's talking about these individuals and letting everybody know what to expect. Let's take a listen real quick, y'all. Hold on a sec. Let's take a listen and to what I'm talking about here as to what he had to say in regards to one of these individuals who who obviously was being satanic, right? He definitely put these individuals on blast. Let's take a listen to what he had to say real quick. All right. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay. Let me remove it there. Okay. Okay, there we go. Y'all give me a moment here because I'm kind of doing something different. Working some things off my iPad and my laptop. Uh, There we go. Let's see. Yeah, let me know if y'all can hear that. Oh shit. I don't even think it started playing yet. I don't even think it started playing yet. Watch Billie Jean. Yeah, a lot of people are telling me about that too. In fact, I can't even hear it myself. Uh, So I feel like that's not even coming up for y'all. Yeah. He said, "Oh, I remember that clip." Yes, sir. All right, hold on a sec. Watch Billie Jean. They present it as if he made a deal. Right. I would have to do a deep dive into that because I know a lot of his music. He had some hidden messages to kind of expose what was going on in the industry, but for some reason, I'm having some issues with this right now. Just hold on a sec, y'all. Give me a sec. All right, y'all. So yeah, I'm not too sure what's going to happen with this, but let me try to go from here with it and bring this. Cause man, I'm kind of hmm. All right, so it's having a hard time, y'all. That's why I got to upgrade. I got to upgrade for sure. I got a couple things that I'm finna do. to upgrade the system very soon. But I didn't want to miss today's stream because I got my desk coming. I got a lot of stuff coming for the office setup, and definitely don't want to miss out on that. All right, so all right. In Leviticus, there's something about a person had done something and was struggling with leprosy, but it was different. His hair had fell out and became red with blotches. Is that Dow? That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. How you compared the two? It's really, can the two stories be parallel one another? Can they align? That's interesting, right there. The bed scene when it lights up when he got into it. The bed scene light up when he got into it. Let's see. The dark needs to fall off down. Just get a hard drive with a 1 or 2 terabyte. Yeah, I mean my Wi-Fi, my internet is top tier. But let me see. I'm still connected. I'm good to go there. But I think that what's having issues is the laptop. I ain't gonna lie. It's like struggling right now. So uh, I'm about to switch. I'm about to make a hard switch. Okay, on that. All right. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Let's go.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil. I'm not.
All right, we got volume.
Now, but I have to let you in on the secret. Please don't videotape what I'm going to say, okay? Turn that off, please. Oh,
I feel like that you guys can't hear that. I feel like that y'all can't hear the clip.
Mariah Carey.
I feel like y'all can't hear it. Y'all let me know. Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a ram or a sheep in the chat if you can hear them talking.
And Tommy Mottola is a
talking
devil.
About Tommy.
I'm not supposed to say what I'm going to say
satanic
right now.
Tommy.
Please don't videotape what I'm going to say, okay?
Okay, cool. It's me who can't hear.
No, I don't mind. Tape it. Mariah Carey, after divorce of Tommy, and Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Right. So this is one of the things, is one of the reasons why they took him out, right? Michael Jackson. I know a lot of people enjoyed his music and whatnot, but of course, this is one of the reasons why they took him out. And we all come from a position where it's like, okay, my thing is that this is we know that they're satanic, we know that they do ball worship, we know that they do all of these different things. And my thing is that when we're dealing with these Epstein files, there's so much that you got to skim through. But one of the things that really stuck out is that the people who it don't mention, the people who are actively doing certain things to help in ways that make sense. And one of the biggest things in running jokes was that Never Never Land was full of like he was actually doing something to SA these children. He was doing something to harm these children, and that was the running joke. That was the reputation, and where in fact, according to some of these sources, they're saying that could be furthest from the truth, right? When people like Macaulay Culkin, when people like some of the other young child actors would talk about Michael Jackson and their experience with him on his land, right, in his and Never Never Ranch, it was never a thing as to where he did something to violate them. He's never done. They never spoke about it. Say they never spoke about any of that stuff. But what they did make mention of was the level of love or whatever may have came from the situation, how much fun they had, things like that when it came to being in his property. But what the world spoke about, what media picked up on, we know mainstream media, man, they'll run with any story. The story was that he himself was a PDF file, that he was a PDF file and he was doing things to young children, right? And that was the biggest thing. It was the one of the biggest stories. Listen, and it became his reputation and it ruined his reputation. But my thing is, when we're looking at this and we know that there's a smear campaign going on, we knew that he was coming after Sony for royalties. We knew that he was doing all these different things and exposing some of these people who are part of the fake and false Zionist agenda. We know that the Zionists run and rule a lot of these different circles. A lot of these circles, they are the keys to them. They are the gatekeepers to them. They run a lot of these industries. They're in and all and throughout. The Zionist agenda is heavily pushed. They want you to believe that Zionists are to be worshiped. These are some of the people who speak on it 110% all the time. They want you to believe that Zionists, right, so-called Jewish individuals, should be worshiped. And we know for a fact who they are and what they're talking about. But I believe that, of course, when we're talking about Jackson, Michael Jackson, when we're talking about this individual, we could be furthest from the truth because mainstream media didn't give us the truth, right? And that's, we got Macaulay Culkin right here talking, speaking on his experience with Michael Jackson. Let's take a listen as to what he had to say about that, y'all. Take a listen.
I'll never forget that. Michael Jackson saved me from getting on a plane to that tiny island.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on Epstein's island. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and they flipped the script and made it appear as if he was the one abusing them, when in reality they were abusing them and he was protecting the children, he was protecting the celebrities. And you have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin who've gone on record to protect and defend Michael Jackson. This all makes sense. It has finally come together. This man has been dead for so long, but now it's coming together. Not only did he protect the children from the physical things that were being done to them, and you know what I'm saying, you just social media, gotta be careful, but he also were protecting them from the social and emotional abuses that were occurring by advising Britney Spears to get out from under her dad before the conservatorship and things of that nature. This man was a lifesaver. Nonetheless,
I'll never forget that. Michael Jackson saved.
So when we're putting the pieces together, y'all, and we're hearing what individuals are saying, and especially when it comes to Jackson, right? We understand more reason why you should want to eliminate or take this individual out. Because if you're stealing a lot of what their plans are, if you're ruining their plans, if you're sabotaging them, whatever it may be, then why would you want this individual to be around more, right? Why would you want somebody who is destroying and being destructive and actually trying to protect children? Because we know that Michael Jackson himself, he's been through a lot of situations when he was a child. He didn't have a childhood. He grew up as a child providing for his family and being abused in ways, okay? You understand what I'm saying? He didn't have a childhood, so he lived vicariously through these children and wanting to provide the best experience of a childhood to these children, understanding and knowing what the system is all about, what they do to him, because it was done to him, right? He was misused, mistreated, and abused, sold out to the beast system. You understand what I'm saying? So it only made sense that he would be the one who advocated, much like individuals like myself, like Pastor Rufus, like Brother Rob, you know, Like a lot of these individuals who speak out against something that they experienced firsthand, it's the same situation. He spoke out against it. He did something proactively to help protect individuals from having to go through it. And then people wonder why individuals like this comes up, right? And the Most High will use you. It doesn't matter. He will use you to protect, especially when it comes to children. As it says, of course, to suffer not the little children, to suffer them not. So why wouldn't he raise up individuals within the industry, right, who were born in that industry, who knows the ins and outs, knows the suffering, the pain, right, in that industry? Why would he raise them up to help protect not only the children, but other individuals who are being misused, who are being essayed, who are doing all these other things? People had a tremendous amount of respect for Michael Jackson here. You know what I mean? He was one of the biggest pop. He was the biggest pop star on the planet. It's really difficult to destroy somebody who has that much love from the people. And you think about a lot of his records before he actually was murdered, right? You think about a lot of the records he put out there. A lot of these records spoke about someone in the industry or spoke about people in the world and how they did not care about the individuals, how they did not care about it, or it really started to, if you think about it, reveal certain things and aspects of his personal life that he could not share publicly at the time. But when we're taking a look at this, I think a lot of people who held firm judgment against Michael Jackson definitely owed him an apology, because when it comes to these Epstein files, it proved the truth about what part he played in this whole scenario and situation. It proved the truth about it, right? And we think, why would a grown man want to spend this much time with children? Why would that? It's kind of weird for him to want to spend time with children, like, and hang out with children. But it only makes sense when you think about the mental state and how he did not have a childhood. It only makes sense. Like, yeah, he probably wants to, experience the fun himself, because he never got an opportunity to actually cut loose and do the things that you see him doing on the screen right now, right? He never had an opportunity for things to not go perfect. He's never had an opportunity to where he can be able to make mistakes, mess up, whatever. Nothing's going right. Everything's chaotic. Everything's just everywhere, right? It was always structure. It was always order. It was always, you gotta, do the right moves and have the right steps and sing the right tune and dance the right dance. And it was always very meticulously ran for Jackson, for Michael Jackson. And that's the reason why you could not blame him for wanting to have that sort of lifestyle and living vicariously through these children. But you can say that it is weird, right? You can say that it's weird. They hate then their own wait and something about the evil. Yeah, they hate that. They hate when you within the system and the system, you got boots on the ground and you can be able to expose truth, right? They hate it when you're doing that. They hate it. And they do the best that they can to smear your name. They do the best that they can to do whatever they can to discredit you, because they don't want the people waking up right along with you. Why would they want you to continue to wake up the sheep? Why? Why would they want you to want to continue for you to do that? Right? They got to continue on in that vein. They got to continue on. Their desires is to deceive the people. And like I said before, listen, my thing is that these people are plants. They have been introduced into this role. Hold on a sec, y'all. So that's what I mean. They literally seek and search out individuals they continue to control on this level. But the moment that you get too big for them is the moment they decide to take you out the game. That's when they want to take you out. It's when you've gotten too big to where they can't no longer control you, right? They want to take you out, and they said this is Michael Jackson. That's not Michael Jackson, y'all. That's not him doing what he's doing right there. But yeah, this was shot and posted back in 2024. So of course we know that Mike passed away, I believe in 2010 or something, or 2011, 2013, something like that, around there, right? So we know for sure that's not him. But when it comes to these Epstein files and what's going on with Epstein, I think that it shines even bigger light, y'all. It shines an even bigger light on the truth. The truth is that everything that people talked about, all of this stuff that they talk about, no matter how crazy it sounds, we got some people out here who literally escaped the slavery that they put them in, right? We got some people out here who literally was being essayed and was and being passed and trafficked for decades of their childhood life, and they're coming out and they're speaking out against a lot of the atrocities that they experience. And some people are trying to throw a crazy flag on it. We got people who talk about Turning Point USA, who talk about Erica Kirk, who talk about these individuals, and they don't bat an eye when they say, hey, there's nothing to see here. They don't raise an eyebrow. They just go along with the flow. And it's like, no, something's not right. Something's going on here. Why would Erica Kirk be so happy and giddy to take a certain position that her husband once sat in, right? And the more she cares, the only thing she really cares about is the numbers. She cares about the company. She don't even care about her own personal family and her husband, right? She's showing no signs of caring. Why is it like this? And then we start to realize, you know what? We've been blaming the whole kit and caboodle. We've been blaming everybody who's been a part of this industry. But honestly, tell you the truth, some people who are part of this thing, they realize what's going on, and that's when they're eliminated. That's when they're taken out. So a lot of these people who have passed away, who have died, under unfortunate circumstances, suddenly, you understand what I'm saying? We can say for sure that there had to been something going on there. We can say that there had to been something going on, right? We can no longer say that, oh, well, it's just speculation. It's not speculated. This is actual facts. This is truth. This is what's going on truly when it comes to these to Epstein and what he's been up to, what he's been doing, what he's been helping out. Of course, a lot of these individuals are agents, they're plants. And I believe wholeheartedly that a lot of these people who were cult leaders are currently cult leaders. They have been placed in those positions by government operatives. They have been placed in those positions to be able to be sure that they deceive the individuals or deceive the masses, mixing the lies with truth. A lot of these individuals, especially when they're moving complete and total opposite of what the book and stuff prescribes to be. They are moving in such a way because, listen, just like the Most High has people that he uses, Satan has people that he uses as well. And they are in these positions to lead people astray. And that's just the truth, right? We know this all too often from our government to be able to put people in certain things to infiltrate that particular sect and community. When you have a Hebrew Israelite community, right, that's on the come up, that's growing, that's waking up the masses, right, and they're doing so effectively, then guess what? You got to infiltrate that. You got to cut that off, because that level of truth being spread worldwide without any sort of tension or pushback is crazy. And you won't be able to control that. That's the reason why you got people out here who are starting certain rifts, right? And they can't seem to speak well of others. They're always starting a beef. They're always starting some contention or strife, or whatever it may be. They're always on that type of time. They want to make it so unpalatable for people to be able to receive the true chosen people of Israel. They wanted to make it so unpalatable that you won't even go and do your own investigations into your own culture and heritage. You will disassociate yourself from what the truth really is when it comes to being a Hebrew Israelite. They want you to separate yourself. So now even the claims that you have a bloodline lineage of Hebrew Israelite, meaning that you're a part of a cult. It means that you are adhering to some sort of form of lies now. But this is the way that it's designed. It's designed to be this way, right? It's designed to keep you from wanting or desiring to discover your own culture. Yeah. And it says here now, as the Epstein files emerged, the pain in Princess Diana's eyes tells a story many failed to understand. And of course, you know, what happened to her in that tunnel, man? Obviously, they took some people out that didn't fit their agenda, right? That didn't fit the mold, that would not allow them to do the things that they want them to do, who would not confide, who would not bend the knee to what their will was. It's obvious that that's what's going on here now, right? And I remember her passing away. I remember what happened to her when they murdered her. Who else? Who else fell victim to these individuals? Paul Walker? Who else? Some of the people who would hear about some of these things and have a heart towards humanity, who have a heart towards doing the right thing. These are the people who are victimized. Think about this. Amanda Bynes. How much torment and essay has that woman, that young lady, went through? To where you go and look her up now and you'll see how bad she is right now. You'll see the results of what they do and how they move. To where now you go over to Kanye and you hear him talk about that trainer who threatened him and said that he would heavily sedate him, and how they're controlling these peoples in their minds. This is just all puts the pieces together. That there is an even bigger cult out here who has deeper pockets, who has a vast amount of power and wealth in this world, that control the narrative on an unprecedented level. That literally, if you got too big, right, and if you got too popular, if you got too known, and you carved your own path into this level of notoriety, that they will literally infiltrate what you're doing and do everything they possibly can to control your voice, to silence you. If they have to silence you permanently, that's not something that's off the table. This is a very interesting world once it really starts to expose itself. Once you start to really peel back the layers and get this thing undressed, you start to really see the level of satanic witchcraft that goes on in this world, right? And the levels that they'll go through, the higher heights. Man, listen, infiltrating communities, and just destroying and tainting the community, destroying it, tainting it, trying to steer it off course. So that way nobody rises up and rebels against that order. Yeah, we know that, you know, what Yeshua said about the devil having a short amount of time. Thou even mentioned there were drones flying over the Straitway hub years ago. Absolutely. I've seen a few of those drones. Nobody owned them. They were just flying overhead. Like, what's going on with that? Monitoring the progress of Straitway, monitoring the progress. And my thing is this, right? All of this silver and stuff that this dude talks about, bro, people know where you live. You putting everybody's life in jeopardy, in danger, right? Because you want to talk about your silver. You want to talk about gold. You want to talk about all these different things, letting people know that you got it. It's interesting that you're letting them know you have it. Because why would you do that when people know where you live, when people know where you stay, and they can come see you, right? You got your whole community of people that's going to have to be on guard, on 24-hour watch, and it's going to be ready to fight and give their life for you and your wealth. That's what it's all about. They're not fighting and giving their life for the Most High. They're fighting to give their life for you and your wealth, right? Because if it ever comes down to it, I promise you, that's what you're gonna fight to defend is your property, your land, and anything. Been a while. Blessings, everyone. Bless you, the masked man. Good to see you in here. Yeah, it's been a little bit. We back though. We back. Welcome back to the Warsheep podcast. So when we're discussing a lot of this, y'all, you gotta understand we're uncovering the truth in regards to a lot of these cults and how they perform, how they operate. Got into Michael Jackson, created Neverland to save kids from Epstein rabbit hole today. Man, I'm trying to tell you straight up. And we're gonna definitely have to bring a lot of that out because, like Macaulay Culkin said, Michael Jackson kept him from going to that island, getting on that plane. Think about how messed up and how jacked up Macaulay Culkin would be today. Because out of all the child stars, he definitely ain't no Amanda Bynes. He's most definitely not no what's the guy's name? Y'all said it earlier. What's that guy's name? Macaulay Culkin is definitely not an Amanda Bynes. He's most definitely not the other guy either. What's that guy's name? Because he's pretty messed up in the head too. Corey Feldman, and then the other Corey as well. The other Corey who took his own life, right? Sadly, they've been through a lot, and they were sold out to the system. Where we got Michael Jackson here, who reportedly created the Neverland Ranch to have a safe space for these young child stars and children who they were planning on doing some very bad things to, right? They're planning on doing some extremely bad things, right? Yep. Michael Jackson was already someone who went around with children anyway. A new video has allegedly been released from Epstein Island claiming to show Michael Jackson and his children. Okay, Michael Jackson. Well, I mean, this was not Epstein Island though. So it wasn't Epstein Island, this one. So they're showing certain things, but it wasn't that. Let's hear this one though. I think that we already
I'll
heard
never
it, but I want to see what that is real quick. Yeah, let me see.
I'll never forget that. Michael Jackson saved me from getting on a plane to that tiny island.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on Epstein's Island. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and they flipped the script and made it appear as if he was the one abusing them, when in reality they were abusing them. And he was protecting the children, he was protecting the celebrities. And you have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin who've gone on record to protect and defend Michael Jackson. This all makes sense. It has finally come together. This man has been dead for so long, but now it's coming together. Not only did he protect the children from the physical things that were being done to them, and you know what I'm saying, it's just social media, you gotta be careful, but he also were protecting them from the social and emotional abuses that were occurring by advising Britney Spears to get out from under her dad before the conservatorship and things of that nature. This man was a lifesaver. Nonetheless, those of you who are like me, help me fact check this, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure this is right.
Yeah. So there you have it. It's like when we're going through these things, now we finally get a clearer picture, right? And it's good to have that clearer picture because when you're making choices and decisions, listen, my thing is this, right? Clarity is so important. And you got to really watch yourself because we're going into a certain phase in this world, going into a certain phase in life where we know that deception can be all around us. Well, we know that we need to be sure that we're literally being careful with everything that we do, all the moves that we make. We got to be very discerning as a people. And sometimes, like Michael Jackson here, sometimes you have to go through the fire in order to pull people out and to keep people and keep others from being burned. Sometimes you got to go into the belly of the beast in order to come out with a testimony to encourage others to not do the same. Sometimes you're going to be misunderstood as to what your true heart's intent is, but the Most High is going to have what you're truly intending right there, written down in a Lamb's Book of Life. Sometimes we're going to come across people who are misunderstood and misjudged. Just like, you say Cat Williams, he has a level of success, but Cat Williams speaks about the evil of the industry often and how that evil cannot prevail. The level of crazy they tried to make him out to be, right? And anybody else they painted a picture of these individuals. They're just not operating or going along with the system and encouraging others to worship and to follow this doctrines of devils. You got these people who are really heavily promoting the E5 religion within these particular religious cults, who are promoting, advertising it, almost as though it's palatable for individuals who are Christ believers, who are followers in Jesus Christ, who are followers in Yeshua Mashiach, Jesus the Messiah, who are followers, right, to be able to receive that there's a possibility or potential that there could be other deities. These are all demonic forces, demonic entities. You got Oshun, who's a false entity, who's a false so-called God. Listen, this individual, that is a demonic spirit masquerading itself as whatever it is. These are demonic entities, and they're promoting and advertising them as something to be worshipped, saying that, of course, the same old excuse, age-old excuse that the Bible was used to what? To form and to take control of slaves, right? They're not going to tell you that that was a historic book that was historically written by our ancestors, giving us the understanding that we need so we can fight back in this time and hour that we're in. They're not telling you those things. They're not giving you the truth on any of that, y'all. Right? And we know it to be true. That the true cult, the true demonic situation is these individuals who got all of this money, who can set up and appoint and tell and give orders for an individual to infiltrate any religious cult at any time, is a religious sect at any time. You don't believe they're infiltrating Muslim, they infiltrating Christianity, infiltrating Hebrew Israelites, they infiltrating all of these different things. 7-day Adventists, they want to be sure they got it set up in each pillar, right, to where you can control your mind the best they possibly can. They want full control over you, your thoughts, all of that. You understand what I'm saying? And lead you astray. So why not? Why not now push this E5 type of religion, right? And if whoever's not going along with it, they are somebody who's on the hit list. You got, like I said, you got Kanye, who's obviously spoken out and spoken up on many occasions. And then he goes radio silent for quite some time. He does his best to try to get us the truth. And we do our best to try to paint him to be a crazy person, right? MJ saved kids from Epstein just to the island. A hero. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. He's somebody who was definitely trying to make a difference, right, in the world and not have these children being violated, right? And how many of you would be brave enough? And you're not even brave enough to speak up against a religious cult leader. How many of you be brave enough to actually protect the child from being SA'd? To try to provide a safe haven for them, right? So they don't have to worry about or go through or suffer through any of these things that took place. Michael Jackson was innocent. Yeah, so we're finding this out through Epstein's files and how they treated him. Man, I'm trying to tell you now. Let's listen to this real quick. I know this was already planned. That's just, it's amazing. I'm just saying. But when the stuff that you're learning about, and you got guys like Jay-Z, things like that, that honestly caught some heat because he was a part of this thing in the ways that he was supposed to be. Now we understanding why Denzel Washington would ignore him whenever he came up and approached him. Completely ignore him. You understand what I'm saying? And the level of things that this man right here before he was murdered, the things that he was accused of, right? The way that they painted his picture of him, it all really did destroy the level of truth that could have been brought from him. Because honestly, when he really started talking and speaking out, when he really started, there was no coverage on this. Nobody in the mainstream media came and brought this as front page news, right? Talking about how Michael Jackson was exposing somebody in the industry. In fact, they kept it hush hush. So you got to know who your enemies are. You understand what I'm saying? I just ran into an old friend of years. I was in a tea shop in Soho and started chatting with a woman. And when she asked my name, I told her. And then she asked if I was related to Jeffrey Epstein, blank. So she told me that she was 41 and that she met you when she was 15. I thought to myself, yeah, that sounds about right. Mark L. Epstein. So, Mark Epstein, acknowledging Jeffrey's evil, okay, proclivities. Oh, man. Did you ever meet anybody famous when you were with Jeffrey? Answer: I met Michael Jackson. Question: Oh, really? And where was that? At his house in Palm Beach. At Jeffrey's house in Palm Beach. Did you message him? I did not. Did you massage him? I did not. So he did. She didn't massage him. You were asked about the famous people. You said you met Michael Jackson. Yes. But you did not give him a massage? No. No. Are you still using my uncle as a smokescreen? We see you. The more the public talks about Epstein, the more you post about Michael Jackson, the public has caught on. I suggest you read the room. Michael Jackson was a look. Michael Jackson was a pedophile who could a PDF file who could abuse children almost with impunity. Claims. Okay. Prosecutor who tried King of Pop. Interesting. So they're still trying to smear it and get that scent off the trail. Let me hear this. Let's hear this real quick.
Oh, it's victims? Wait, so why is he here? Michael Jackson here? Like, are these celebrities actually this weird? How hard is it to be a normal fucking human? I'm so confused. Like, how hard is it? They framed him. But how do we even know that's the truth? Like, oh, it's victims? Wait, so why is he here? Michael Jackson here? Like, are these celebrities actually this weird? How hard is it to be a normal fucking human? I'm so confused. Like, how hard is it? They framed him. But how do we even know that's the truth? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they most definitely talking about this pretty
because
much.
of his support of Palestine.
In 1993, Michael Jackson was writing a song called Palestine, Don't Cry.
Just a century ago, when stories of peace were told, of how Galilee ran through the Jordan River, what remains are cold tales of war.
And he wanted it to be on his 1995 album, His Story, Past, Present, and Future. But Tommy Mottola apparently shut down this song from being able to be aired on the album. And this was in early 1993.
Yeah, and this was during, I believe this is the first Intifada.
Shortly after that, the same year after that song gets shut down, is the first time Michael Jackson is accused of inappropriate touching and molesting a child. This child's name was Jordan Chandler.
Wow.
And the jury, after looking at all of the evidence, found Michael Jackson innocent on all charges. But obviously, this was something that haunted him his whole entire life.
100% he was targeted in this situation. He was saying stuff you're not. I mean, you got to remember, he was like the biggest star of all time.
Well, and let's not also forget how Michael Jackson died.
Well, I thought it was a drug overdose.
Well, he was supposedly getting, what is it? Propofol, which is like an anesthetic, right? That they use for like twilight anesthesia. Farhim Muhammad, who served as Michael Jackson's chief of security and was one of the first people to discover his body, of course, on June 25th, 2009, went to work as Sean Diddy Combs' head of security shortly after Jackson's death.
I think he was targeted. I mean, you see this happen over and over again, where if you speak out against a certain thing, all of a sudden you're labeled.
Michael constantly told me, Latoya, they're going to murder me. They're going to kill me. He would tell me that, Barbara. When I found out he had actually passed, I said, no, it wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Who murdered your?
Now, why wouldn't they make that testimony that she just said mainstream, plastering it on every TV screen? Mainstream. This ABC interview. Why wasn't this more exposed, blown up? This is his sister, Latoya Jackson, talking about what Michael was saying before his passing. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Brother.
I don't know exactly who. I think there are more players involved than we know.
Will you name names?
I think within time it just might come out and people will know.
I think that's what it is. You either make the deal or we'll make the deal for you. You may not like that second deal because you may not be around to see the second deal.
So it's the things that you start to learn after the fact that makes the biggest difference, especially when you know for a fact that these people are evil. You got Mel Gibson here, obviously knows what's going on. Yeah, Mel Gibson has been fighting child trafficking for years. But a lot of these people who had careers, successful careers, their career fell off. Their career went into the toilet, down the drain. When you don't want to play ball with the cabal, when you don't want to join, when you don't want to do all the rest of the stuff that they're doing, your career just goes into the toilet. When you're not trying to promote false deities and false religions and things like that, when you're not promoting and produce or trying to push it, then you literally do not get the same exposure that the other ones get, who are willing to play ball, who are willing to promote and push it, who are willing to influence the public into worshiping demonic forces, demonic spirits like Yeshun or the E5 religion, who's willing to keep those sort of things and be deceived. They're more than willing to push you if you're willing to take those positions. I think Trump. Play the clip of Trump and Lydia talking about MJ. I think Trump is clean. Yeah. Okay, it might have something.
Can depend on the testimony of the child accuser.
Hold on a second.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is.
It is. Well, look who it is. If it ain't the witch herself, look who it is. The Democrat herself on the case. This person didn't put away so many innocent people. It's not even funny, but she's the one for the job. If you want somebody who don't give a damn, who only cares about the money, she would be the one that you would want to choose to get the job done when somebody needs to be falsely accused and falsely prosecuted. It's gonna be Kamala Harris. That's her reputation. That's who she is. I can't believe that people would actually ever even consider voting for her, especially melanated people. She's not a black woman. Obviously, she rode that coattail and rode that train long enough. She's not. She don't identify as one, and she wouldn't want to be one. They have done enough when it comes to the Democratic Party. They have done enough to exploit the black community. It's just dried up. It's dried up. It's washed up now. And now it's the same sort of situation and atmosphere comes from these Republicans now that they're trying to adopt people like Nicki Minaj. These people will only go for whoever will pay them more money. It's not about what they believe in, really. They'll believe in whatever, the green dollar will pay for them to believe in. If you want them to believe in this, they'll pay for it. They'll pay for it. It'll be paid for, bought and paid for them to believe in Republican or Democrat. You get what I'm saying? Bought and paid for. Cardi B. Oh, don't mean that she agree with the principle, but the green, she agree with the money that's being put in her hands to believe in the things that they believe in. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's crazy. It's all connected. Yeah. So, selling them out. Yeah. Did they say Trump was working with the FBI to expose Epstein? I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about that. I would have to actually do some investigating on that one. But let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. This is
Available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people, and she goes after them viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win. But I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
wow. And so when you start hearing stuff like this, man, they do not make this mainstream, right? Kamala Harris, as you can hear what he's saying, Trump is literally saying, like, yeah, nah, that's a lie. And this person, Kamala Harris, obviously is doing it for the clout. He's doing it for the money. She's doing it for whatever reason, but she's being paid to do it. Not only that, you got the system right there in your face. This is what they do. This is how they get down. Kamala Harris is a vicious woman who goes after people who are innocent. And she just does it because the inner coat, right? The system wants her to do it. She is like a hit woman. She's like a hit woman when it comes to legalities, when it comes to the law. Kamala Harris was their hit woman. If they needed somebody to go down with charges, she would be one of the people that they send. They'll send Kamala Harris in order to take them down, in order to get them to be buried under so much legalities that they go broke. And honestly, Michael was definitely in a position where the money was looking crazy after they were done with him. So many different legal issues that they tried their best to destroy him with, right? Trump needs to work with the FBI to expose the CIA. Yeah, I mean, even the FBI is got some dirt on them. Even the FBI has got some dirt that they committed. You understand what I'm saying? The FBI is honestly just a federal bureau that protects the dollar. They protect the dollar. The CIA was designed to break down cultures, to break down countries, to destroy them, to infiltrate them. Where the FBI is created to protect money, to protect the money, right? That's what they're created for. That's why she didn't win the election. We never forgot. Yeah, come on now. And shit, if she would have won, it'd have been a wrap for a lot of people. I promise you, them borders would have been open, the trafficking. And I'm trying to tell y'all now, right now, when Biden took office and she was vice president, the borders were wide open. And I keep saying it, I reiterate it. The reason why they were opening those borders was not for people to come in and be able to freely come into this country. No, it's for traffickers. It was for them to be able to freely come and go. So they make it easier for them, because this is about a cash cow. This is about making money. So you open up these borders, man. These traffickers can be able to come in and out of the US and not have a bunch of pushback, not have a bunch of problems or questions or investigations, none of that, because the borders are wide open. And the US is one of the main hubs for trafficking. So they making big money off of selling people's children into these trafficking rings. So of course, Kamala is 110% heavily involved in what they got going on when it comes to selling these children, trafficking these children, doing what she's doing with them. She is definitely one of them, as well as Biden. Biden has always been a puppet. He has always been an instrument. And who's controlling all of these politicians who are rolling with all of this nonsense? You got AIPAC, and on this channel, you can go back on this channel. I've been talking about AIPAC for so long. The Zionist corporation AIPAC, the ones who actually took out and assassinated JFK, because JFK was forcing them into registry, trying to force them into having to register as a business here in the US. AIPAC took him out because he was pressing on the problem and issue too hard. These individuals are paid politicians through AIPAC, which is a Zionist corporation, a Zionist movement that is literally got these politicians in their back pocket, funding their lifestyle, paying these individuals, right? AIPAC is the ones who control the system. They control it. They control what happens here in the US, honestly. They are the ones who govern over these politicians who will allow it. You understand what I'm saying? They all got an AIPAC person. I've been talking about this for a while now. The drug cartels, absolutely. Letting the cartels in and out of this place, just making it even more dangerous. But it made it free for all. Now they can be able to move children and other individuals that are in these particular trafficking situations in and out of the US with no pushback, with no resistance. Now they can be able to make the money that they're looking to make. And you can sell listen, you can sell a child multiple times over and over and over again and make, listen. And that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been working on. That's what they've been working to do. And a lot of these individuals in the US who are so heavily brainwashed that they don't care about the open borders, that they believe that there's something wrong with you if you feel like that there should be more security, that we should be checking on these things more. They are 100% fully gung-ho about the open borders and anything that the Democratic Party or the left feeds to them, any of this nonsense, getting rid of their guns, getting rid of their only means of protection. They are 100% on board with these things. And it's not about left or right, because I'm neither one, but it's about what's right and what's wrong. And if you're influencing people to do something that does not make any sense, then of course you're looking to do evil. You're looking to do them wrong. You just need an easier route. You don't need nobody giving you any problems when you're trying to screw over them. That's what takes place, right? That's what takes place. And this individual, I'm trying to tell you, Kamala, my goodness. This individual, man, let's hear what this one got to say, because let's go ahead and play this. She is one of the worst of the worst. One of the worst of the worst. I promise you she is. Let's go ahead and listen in on this real quick, y'all. Let's listen in on this. You know, sometimes I think that we fail to realize certain things, especially when people are just wicked, evil. You understand what I'm saying? And they are controlled by wickedness, by evil. That's all you can really say that is. You can't say that that's anything else other than being wicked, being evil. Because if you're willing to do that and you know for sure the person's innocent, there's no reason. Come on now. You're willing to do anything for money. Anything for money. Let's listen to this one real quick, y'all.
So Trump was using DJ as a pawn? What about Nelson Mandela? What about Jennifer Hudson? What about Jesse Jackson? The First Step Act, 90% of those individuals were black. Were they pawns too? Don King, was that a pawn? Muhammad Ali, was that a pawn too? Al Sharpton, was that a pawn? Michael Jackson. So Trump was using DJ as a pawn? What about Nelson Mandela? What about Jennifer Hudson? What about Jesse Jackson? The First Step Act, 90% of those individuals were black. Were they pawns too? Don King, was that a pawn? Muhammad Ali, was that a pawn too? Al Sharpton, was that a pawn? Michael Jackson.
inspire people, each generation. I mean, well, let's face it. I mean, who wants mortality? I mean, everybody wants immortality. You want what you create to live, be it sculpture or painting or music or composition. Like Michelangelo said, you know, I know the creator will go, but his work survives. That is why to escape death, I attempt to bind my soul to my work. And that's how I feel. I give my all in work. Because I wanted to just live and just give all that I have, you know? Yeah, it has to be. Billie Jean, yeah, they said we won't play it. And when they played it, it set the all-time record. And they were asking for everything we had. They were knocking our door down because it brought in, then Prince came, it opened the door for Prince and all the other black artists.
Accused by countless people, Donald Trump stood up and said this.
I'm going to stick up for him because nobody else is, but I don't believe it.
Trump angrily criticized the mother who accused Michael of child molestation.
And she goes after him viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
While many were waiting for the superstar to be imprisoned, Trump firmly believed that the truth would prevail.
I had no idea he'd be that strong defensive of him. And good for Donald, you know.
It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry.
Many people avoided talking about the wrongful case from years before, but Trump unexpectedly brought it up again.
The kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And
even Trump's eldest son, when he grew up, mentioned Michael Jackson.
Jackson used to come up and, like, he was our neighbor at Trump Tower, right? So I was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Michael Jackson.
It's not appropriate for us to say who was behind the smear campaign against Michael, but Trump gave him the best support.
Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson. So
Michael was a great friend of ours, actually. And he lived in Trump Tower for a long period of time.
I mean, my thing is that a lot of people say a lot of things about Trump, about Melania. You know, some of the most genuine people that I feel like are in politics right now. But, you know, of course, they still got things that they gotta overcome. But obviously, never really truly been down with the status quo, the Zionist agenda, things like that. But honestly, never really publicly spoke out against it either. But just behind the scenes, obviously working against what people were trying to do to smear people, to destroy their reputation. In California, Kamala put a lot of minorities in prison for a long time on minor marijuana charges when she was attorney general. Yeah, and she all while smoking marijuana herself. Seriously, just twisted and deranged and drunk on power. And that's what power will do to you. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's what it'll do to you. They Barry Bonds too. They tried to end Barry Bonds. They didn't want him getting 800 home runs. Yeah, I remember that scandal that they said that he was taking steroids. So they said that Barry Bonds was on steroids, things like that. They've done quite a bit to destroy people's reputations, quite a bit to destroy people's legacy, to keep them from being able to reach certain heights and certain goals. These people are just deranged lunatics. I promise you they are. Let's listen to this one real quick.
People are on television that don't know me, and they're like experts on me. You know, when Michael Jackson died, I knew him very well. And everybody was talking about Michael Jackson. They didn't know him.
Well, one thing about Michael Jackson, he lived in Trump Tower.
And I see your show all the time, Michael Jackson. Every night you have Michael Jackson, blah, blah, blah. 15 years ago, I went to Madison Square Garden and I watched Michael Jackson perform and do the moonwalk across the stage. And I said, I don't think I've ever seen anything. There was no entertainer like him. He lives in various of my buildings. I mean, he sort of follows me around in the sense of he likes what I have.
Well, I know him very well. He's lived in my buildings.
Perfect gentleman. We never had one problem. He's a friend of mine. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a little different. Badly. Well, he's gone through a lot.
I'm going to stick up for him because nobody else is, but I don't believe it.
Michael was a great friend of ours, actually. And he lived in Trump Tower for a long period of time. He did. And he was a sweet guy, special guy. He was with me many, many times at Mar-a-Lago in particular, in Palm Beach. And so many unbelievable weekends took place with Michael, especially in Palm Beach.
I'm trying to tell you, these people, man. And I'm glad that the truth has come out. I'm glad that they were able to clear his name and make sure that they solidify some things. And they needed that tangible proof and evidence coming from these Epstein files in order to get it done. And I'm happy for it. Honestly, tell you the truth, because the truth is always something that, honestly, it should be told. It should be told, y'all. We're going to be landing this plane here. We're going to be landing this plane here, man. I really appreciate y'all joining me here for the Warsheep podcast. I'm trying to tell you now, hit that like button, y'all. Don't forget to share this video, share this live stream, share it with those who need to hear this message. And honestly, we're going to continue on with exposing this truth and seeing what's going on behind these curtains. Because guess what? Guys and people like myself and like others who expose truth, listen, we really need that level of support because, people will always try to discredit us. They will always try to come after us, especially when you start to speak out against a lot of things. I would ask you to continue to hold true and move past the BS, right? And continue to support those who are willing and strong enough and honestly who will say the things that others just don't want to say. They just don't want to come out and do it. This is all based on healing and restoration and understanding what times we truly are in right now, what we're living in. So we will know how to better prepare ourselves, our spirit, our soul for what's to come. Right? Right? They could never, ever prove Barry Bonds took steroids. Yeah. This is how they just moved. Dow, let's see, get a couple more. Dow is becoming more like RG Stair, and Dow wanted full access to the daughters of Zion. Listen, he was selling them. He was selling them. Dow was selling them. He's nothing. He's just like the B system over there in the entertainment industry, taking advantage of opportunities that don't belong to him, and he should never try. Bless y'all. Hope y'all see it. We're going to see you guys again in the next vlog. We're going to be dropping more videos here. I'm trying to tell you, get back to the regular scheduled program. Peace and shalom, shalom. You know what? Let's get them ram and them sheep in the chat room on the way out, y'all. All right. Bless y'all. We're going to go ahead and get this thing closed out. I bet anything. Set my outro. Let's go and get that done. But I really appreciate y'all joining me here for the Warsheep podcast, man. Let's go. Is that it? All right. Well, peace, y'all. Bless y'all. Shalom, shalom.
We don't bow to the faith. Talking loud, talking big, but we see through the snake. Got you in my heart. We don't bend, we don't break. Never fall, she been the fold. Yeah, we watch how they shake, shake, shake. Yeah. See in front, man, claiming holy, holy. Twisting scriptures, yeah, they line so phony, so phony. Mask on the face, right in the only. Right. Yeah, I see y'all, we don't fall in the